This is One Fat Boy, and here are my NBA game predictions for February 24th of 2022. Tonight there's 7 games, and I'll be going over the spreads and over-unders for each of these. For Cleveland at Detroit, I'm going to go with Cleveland minus 7.5. And Cleveland, I expect them to continue their winning ways. In Detroit, I think they'll have a little more spark to them, as Cade Cunningham had a good weekend, but I think overall Cleveland's a better team. Should be able to take advantage of Detroit, no problem. Just solidify their race while they're towards the top of the Eastern Conference. And I actually do expect this team to go over 209. I usually would lean towards the under for this game, but I think with 209 being like so low, I think I could see this going over, because currently the spread is at 209, but personally I'd probably adjust that towards like a under 216, but I think somewhere around like 209 is reasonable, so I just lean towards under for that. For Boston at the Nets, so I'm going to lean towards Boston minus 7, and just a Boston win overall. Lots of players out for Brooklyn, so it's going to be pretty much the role players for Brooklyn. So I think Boston with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, that's should be enough for them to come out with a win. Also, this is kind of one of their rivals, quote unquote. So I think Boston's trying to win this no matter what. Stay above them in the playoffs, and also make sure that they stay out of the play-ins too for Boston. So they should come out of the All-Star break like fresh and ready to go. We'll be going over 213.5, as I think Boston's defense will be able to take advantage of Brooklyn Nets defense. Then since Nets try to push the ball, I think their players have enough like veterans on the Nets to where they can get the shots they need. They can deal with Boston's defense. So lean towards the over 213.5. For the Suns at the Thunder, I've got to lean towards Phoenix minus 9.5, as Phoenix should be able to, even without Paul, shouldn't have a problem dealing with OKC. This should be like a warm-up game, seeing how Point Book comes out, see how well he can run the offense without Chris Paul. And there's guards for them, just pretty much bring the ball down and just pass it to him, then he just runs the offense. As kind of expect how the Lakers used Kobe back in the day, where they just have a random point guard just bring the ball down, pass it to Kobe, and then just run the offense through him, which that worked to a degree. So that's what I kind of see the Suns doing, and I think that I can see that being effective against the Thunder, who are one of those bottom-dwelling teams in the Western Conference. I will be going over 215, as Suns will be trying to figure that things out, so might be a little laxed on the defense. I think offensively they shouldn't really have a problem. Then the Thunder with their rookies and young players, especially Sean Giddy, I expect him to continue his ways with that good weekend he had over All-Star break, and then continue to bring that into regular season. So hence I'm going over 215, but Suns should win no problem. I do expect them to cover. For Memphis at Minnesota, I'll be going with Memphis minus 3. I think with the proper rest, Memphis should have beat Minnesota no problem. So hence why I'm leaning towards Memphis. A little surprised how close the spread is, but pretty much as Memphis, if they can just deal with the press that Minnesota does, and then Minnesota doesn't get enough off their gambles on defense, Memphis flat out wins. And then if Memphis can just clamp down, just slow down Minnesota when needed, another way that Memphis can win the game. Minnesota just has to make their shots continuously all game, and then get enough gambles with how they play their defense to keep the lead on Memphis. But it's just more likely that Memphis will, because they play a little bit more consistently than Minnesota, will come out with a win. We'll be going under 239. It's the spread currently is around 239. I think for both teams to have over that 120 mark, it's they have to be hot the entire game, up and down continuously all game, which that's how kind of both of them play, especially Minnesota. But I think one team will be able to clamp down, maybe slow the game down a little bit, and just play defense for a quarter, slow down the scoring for one of them for a quarter, and that will probably just keep it probably like to 230, but under 239, maybe do like under 244. But I just have a feeling one of these teams will have a low scoring quarter, which will keep it towards the under. For Atlanta at Chicago, I'm going to lean towards Chicago -4. It's like even though we're dealing with the second half of the season Atlanta Hawks, I think the Bulls will be able to sneak out a win. And then -4, that's a reasonable amount for the Bulls to win by. But I just lean towards the Bulls winning. I think between DeRozan and Levine, they'll be able to take advantage of the defense on the wings by Atlanta, as it's hard to hide Trae Young the entire time. And DeRozan has been playing very, very well. And Levine, that's just another person that you can just pass to for the Bulls. But just the wing attack on the Bulls, that's going to be a lot for Atlanta to handle. Then the Bulls, I think, will be able to clamp down on Atlanta just enough for them to get the win. And Bulls, I think, shouldn't have a problem on offense whatsoever. I will be going over 234.5, but I could reasonably see under 234.5. But I think both these teams will show up as they had the All-Star break. Should be one to light up the scoreboard. But if you think just one team's going to fall out flat, which I think Atlanta might go with the under, but I think both teams will show up, as this is kind of an important game for both of them. As Bulls, they want to stay towards the top, and Atlanta, they got to stay in the playoffs, try and get out of the play-ins. So hence why I'm going over 234.5, but I'll lean towards Chicago winning. For Golden State at Portland, I'm going with Golden State -9.5, and Golden State's just flat out a better team than Portland, especially if you can contain Simons, as he was kind of leading Portland to winning those games when I didn't have faith in Portland at all. I still don't, but I think I just have more faith in Golden State to win. And then -9.5, I think that's reasonable. Like, Golden State should really be winning by like at least 15 for this game. But winning shouldn't be a problem for them, as long as they just like keep Nurkic in foul trouble, or like have Simons really work for his shots. That means another person has to step up for Portland, and does Portland even have another person? That's the actual question. So hence why I'm also going under 223.5, as I think the Warriors' defense will really affect Portland. Then Golden State's offense just has to like play normally, which is usually like lower scoring, even though they're towards like the upper half of overall scoring. But if you win games, you usually score a little bit more. So, but overall, it should end up under 223.5, and then Warriors should be able to win no problem, and they should, maybe not, but they should be able to cover 9.5. But I'd probably maybe bump that down 6.5 or 7.5, as Golden State has been playing those closer games as of late, but they really should win this by 15. For Denver at Sacramento, I'm going to go with Denver -4.5. So I think Jokic should take advantage of Sabonis, just display his dominance as the European big man, and Denver should come out with the win. Even though I think Fox, he's going to have a good game. He has like more time to be put to him, as he doesn't have to share like minutes with Halliburton, so there's going to be balls going to be in his hands more. So expect his numbers to go up. But I think the main battle is going to be between Jokic and Sabonis. And there's a reason why Jokic won the MVP, is just he's like flat out a stats machine and knows how to pull out some wins in the clutch. Which Sacramento, they're probably just going to stick at the bottom anyway. So expect Denver to come out with a win, especially if it's close in the fourth quarter. I think Denver has enough like skills and experience to come out with the win. We'll be going over 232.5, as Sacramento's defense really won't affect Denver at all. So Denver should be able to score a lot, no problem. And Sacramento, even with the trade, I think Sabonis like keeps Sacramento at that high scoring rate. Just kind of improves their rebounding overall, but Sacramento shouldn't have a problem scoring either. So hence why I'm leaning towards the over 232.5. Thank you for watching. Hope everyone's excited to watch basketball for the second half of the season. Bet responsibly, and once again, thanks for watching.